I'm Steve Turnberger. Instead of a sports update tonight, we have a legend in his own time here in the Delaware area, played in the Negro Leagues for 25 years, was the leading hitter in 1923 and 1924, and inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1975. Mr. Judy Johnson, very glad to have you on the program tonight.
Thank you.
Getting back to your career, you grew up on the west side of Wilmington, and before you got into baseball, your father wanted you to be a prize boxer.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that.
prize fighter. And I didn't want to be, but at that time, you had to do what your parents had picked out for you. And my sparring partner was my sister. Of course, that wasn't good for me because Dad'd say, don't hit her in the breast or in the face or in the stomach. And, of course, I had no place to swing. But she could beat me. So one day my father worked at nighttime. And during the day, we'd get from school, we had an hour's practice of boxing. And I would cry and everything, but he made me do it. So one day, one of her gloves fell off, and she stooped to pick it up, and I kicked her right in the pan. So he said, you're not going to be a fighter. Said, if you want to do anything, said, play baseball, and I enjoyed that.
So you went to Howard Career Center, I guess it was Howard High School back then, the old Howard.
Yeah.
And then you broke into baseball in the Wilmington area, and then you went up to Philly.
Went to Philly to play with a club called Hilldale, and they were a professional team, Negro team. At that time, we weren't allowed to play in the big leagues. But we used to play the big league clubs after they would play a World Series. And that's what I loved. I loved to play against them because I said, if you don't want me with you, well, I can beat you, and smile about it. And we did. We would play. Well, I played against every professional ball player of any note, even Babe Ruth. I played 2 games against him.
Dizzy Dean?
Dizzy Dean, we played 16 games against his club in the fall, and we beat him 9 games.
In 1947, when Jackie Robinson was the first black player to get into the major leagues,
right?
What was your feeling about that? Of course, your playing career was over. I'm sure all the time that you were playing, you wish you could have played in the big leagues.
I did. And I worked for Mr. Connie Maxay's. I scouted for them 3 years. And he told me, had I been a white boy, that I could have named my own price. But I played against all the big league notes of my time.
And then in 1975, up in Cooperstown, New York, you're inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Must have been a great thrill for you.
Oh, it was a thrill. That was one of the greatest thrills of my life. And to be inducted with all the other big league ball players.
Judy, as you look back on how baseball has changed so dramatically with the free agent drafts and everybody having their own agents and people getting millions of dollars, what was your feeling on that as far as baseball seems to be more of a business trend now than it is really a game?
And baseball, to me, is sliding back from the days that I played, because the boys are making great money, big money. And I don't regret that, but they're not giving the public what they're worth. The public's, I think in a few years you're going to find baseball is not the big American game. I think the soccer's coming up, and I think it's going to take the place of baseball and basketball. Basketball is not as good as it used to be. And to me, that's my feeling. But of course, them boys, they are making that money, and more power to them.
One of the reasons that the Carpenters sold the Phillies. What was your feeling about that when you had a lot of good relation with the Carpenters? You used to be a scout with the Phillies.
Yeah,
right?
That hurt me because I would go south in the spring training. When I was working for them, during the winter months, in the summer months, I would always go to Clearwater in the spring training, and I'll miss that.
Will you be going down this year?
I don't know. The new outfit that's bought the club, I don't know whether they'll take me or not. I hope they do, because I've always looked forward to going down, and I enjoy it. I love to teach baseball, and because they don't get the proper training as they should have, because nobody's interested in things. They're interested in the 1st and the 15th. That's payday.
Get the check in.
Yeah. And they don't take the time to teach the kids like they should. When I was going down with the Phillies in training, if you would do something wrong in your training, I would stop all practice right then and go out and explain to what you had done wrong. But now they have the clipboards, and you mark, the players are marked with numbers, like you might be number 10. And I see something I didn't mark it down. I would go out and demonstrate to you your mistake.
Everything seems to be a graph now.
Yeah, that's it.
Statistics and everything else. Judy, thanks a lot for coming on the program. Living in Marshallton right now. In the area.
I want you to come out and see some of my mementos. I've got a few of them there that probably interest you.
Judy Johnson, we're going to do that. We'll have some of those clips, I'm sure, right here on Focus Delaware.
Right.
Thanks a lot.